The Wednesday Netflix series ended in an unexpected way, and that's why a lot of people were confused. What happened to Tyler? Is school closed? Who is Wednesday's new stalker? I'll explain everything to you now. Wednesday's series did well with the plot twist at the end, but it was a lot of information together at a breakneck pace. Several suspects dropped until finally we found out, together with Wednesday, who was behind the murders around Jericho. There were several simultaneous fights. There was death, resuscitations, arrests, and more. Were you able to keep track of all the details in Wednesday's series? Let's check it out now! Wednesday had 2 points unsolved in her investigations. First point, she thought the monster was Xavier, when it was actually Tyler. Second thing, when she thought her therapist, Dr. Kinbot, was the long-lost sister of Garrett Gates, but in fact, it was Ms. Thornhill. Since the beginning, Wednesday had a crush on Tyler, and he always seemed like a good guy, while Xavier drew lots of monster pictures. She wasn't going to leave this case until she solved everything, so she gathered some students to try to catch Tyler. At first the plan went wrong and Wednesday was expelled from Nevermore Academy, remembering that she was already warned that she could no longer meddle in investigations and cause problems, and that's exactly what she did. But as much as Tyler was the monster, there were more layers to this mystery. Tyler had no obvious reason for doing all that. The monster was actually a piece in the game, and there was another evil mind behind it all. It is also worth remembering that the monster is a Hyde, which is a creature that can transform from a human into a monster. This makes a lot of sense with the context of the place, since the Nevermore Academy welcomed young people of this type: mermaids, werewolves, various types of fantastic beings, and Hydes are one of those, only much rarer. The curious thing is that Tyler, who is this Hyde, he didn't go to Nevermore Academy. He apparently lived like a normal guy in the city, and hence the surprise. It was explained that Tyler was a Hyde because he inherited this genetics from his mother, who was also a Hyde, but at the time of the story she was already deceased. Another big surprise was Christina Ricci's character, Miss Thornhill. She seemed like a character who was there to do fan service, because she was the actress who played Wednesday in early 90s, and no one imagined that she would have so much importance in the plot. In the final arc, Wednesday discovered that the teacher used a fake name, and that she was actually Laurel Gates, a descendant of settler Joseph Crackstone. Laurel Gates used her knowledge of botany to produce extracts to do whatever she wanted, and with that she controlled Tyler, but truth be told, she also took advantage of Tyler's psychological weakness, who suffered from his family traumas after losing his mother. It was a double move by Laurel to manipulate Tyler, but why did Laurel do all this? So, she had planned this move for years, and this was revenge against Nevermore Academy and also against the Adamses. That's because more than 20 years ago, Laurel's brother, Garrett, was murdered by Morticia at school. The confusion started when Garrett, in his youth, was going to commit an attack to poison the students of Nevermore Academy at the time when Morticia and Gomez Adams were young students at the school. Everything went wrong and Morticia ended up killing Garrett, and then Laurel's revenge began. She took advantage of the fact that everyone thought she had died as a child and hid her identity by pretending to be someone else. Over the years, she returned to the city as a teacher at Nevermore Academy, but the war between the Adams and Gates families goes back much further. The ancestors of the two families had already faced each other in the past, Crackstone and Goody Adams, at the time of colonization. Centuries ago, Joseph Crackstone was a religious fanatic who persecuted several people in the village, including the Adams ancestors. Laurel's evil plan was precisely to bring Crackstone back to the world of the living, and for that she needed Adam's blood. In the scene of the revelations back in Miss Thornhill's classroom, Principal Weems surprised everyone by impersonating Tyler, and that made Laurel come clean. The plan worked in parts, because when Principal Weems revealed herself, Laurel killed her with a belladonna poison syringe. In this attack, Wednesday was also beaten and taken to the ritual that would use her blood to resurrect Joseph Crackstone. In this time, it seemed like that's the end for Wednesday, but Goody Adams appeared and healed her. Hence the struggle was widespread. Enid defeated Tyler, Eugene managed to attack Laurel with the bees, and Wednesday managed to hit Crackstone in the heart, sending him back to the world of the dead. But some things were left open there. First of all, you can't be sure that Laurel is dead. With Tyler, things weren't very clear either. After Enid defeated him, he was found by his father, the sheriff, and in the end Tyler was taken away by the authorities. So, if Laurel didn't die with the bees, and Tyler is released, the duo could very well be back in action in the next season. The wire was loose for both, but that's not all that was left open in this story. Wednesday and Xavier are reconciled, the semester ended at school and the students were dismissed to go home. Of course, there is no longer a director and many people are traumatized of the latest events, so this early break should mark the gap between Season 1 and Season 2. But in this rapprochement between Xavier and Wednesday, he gave her a cell phone as a gift so they could communicate during the holidays. And it didn't take long. As soon as she left school, she already received a message. There were pictures of her with Tyler and Xavier, and a gif of her dying, meaning she has a new stalker to deal with going forward, and it's not a friendly one. The first and most obvious suspect is Xavier. After all, he's the one who bought the cell phone and gave it to her. Maybe he had a reason, because it was of Wednesday's mistake that he was arrested, so he might want revenge. But considering the direction Season 1 has taken, then nothing is what it seems. And because of this detail, the suspicion that the stalker is Xavier is not such a good option. Do you agree? It's too obvious. Another possibility is that Laurel Gates survived and the Revenge 2.0 plan has already started. Yeah, there's an upgrade there. Leave a comment below about what you think what will happen in the second season.